Hey friends, this is Prokopis from Effective Music Practice. I was just recording a lesson for my upcoming economy picking bootcamp course, and in the last part I was talking about economy picking arpeggios, and I was describing a special characteristic of economy picking, basically the fact that the economy picking strategy is consistent and identical despite what kinds of lines you're playing. You don't switch techniques to play arpeggios, scales, and so on. And I realized that many players don't know this and that it would be a good idea to post this on the EMP blog as well. These things are basic guitar knowledge, so even if you're not interested in economy picking, this is still good to know. So I'm not going to repeat everything, I'll just cut that section from that video and edit that into this video. Here it goes. Economy picking is a picking strategy that covers every melodic possibility. You follow the same rules for scales, arpeggios, pentatonics, string skipping, whatever. That's one of the reasons many modern improvisers choose economy picking instead of alternate picking, even though alternate picking seems easier on the surface. Economy picking gives you the flexibility to be free and unpredictable. You don't need to think, okay, now we're moving from scales to arpeggios, so I'll switch techniques. No, arpeggios are played the same way as everything else. The only reason we put them in a different category when practicing economy picking is that the sweeps become more frequent in arpeggio playing, creating an extra challenge. So you need to practice them more. But once you get comfortable with them, mixing arpeggios and scales becomes the most natural thing. That is, of course, if you know what you're doing in your fretting hand. So a fully developed economy picker doesn't need to think about the picking hand at all, because the same picking system takes him or her through every possible kind of melody. For example, you can go from arpeggio to scale. It doesn't matter, the system is the same. You see, sometimes you hear a guitar solo and it's obvious that the player is saying, okay, here are some fast scales or scale patterns, blah, 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 and now here are some arpeggios, and that's cool. I think that this kind of style is wonderful. Some of the players I admire play like that. It sounds cool, and in the economy picking bootcamp we actually do work a little bit like that. But that kind of playing is not really so much improvisational. Sure, you can mix these things in different ways, but they always sound a little set up. They sound like prepared licks, which again is fine. The bulk of the music we love, including all of the classical music masterpieces, is prepared, not improvised. But I believe that educationally it's a great idea to go for techniques that open up your tendency to improvise and explore new territory as you are playing. I mean, sure, tendencies will develop and every player has things they tend to play more than others. And you may even choose to make music that is specifically prepared and composed. But even if you don't want to be an improviser per se, the ability to improvise freely without being boxed into specific techniques or licks can help you be more creative in everything you do. I consider free improvisation skills and tools that help us develop these skills, like economy picking, to be vital elements in the development of any modern musician. I mean, improvisation makes it easier to compose, easier to memorize music, easier to reproduce something by ear, easier to patch things up if you get lost during a gig, easier to adjust to new styles, and so on. And economy picking is a technique that promotes and works well with the free improvisation outlook on music. But anyway, the arpeggio section will be the last section of our practice routines. And again, you will have a fun backing track to play over with the tempo gradually increasing to some really high speeds. But as I said before, you should first focus on building a solid and accurate technique using what you will learn in the corresponding lessons. You don't have to go for the highest speeds yet. If you do want to go for it, you can just work on the complete workout later, after we finish everything, and take that as far as you want. Treat that video like a video game again, and try to match my speed through all the speed levels over the accelerating backing tracks. But enough talking and let's start playing. You are now ready to go either to the ascending or the descending sections of the bootcamp and get into the practical side of this. See you there.